All right, so you guys, we are recording, so you could start whenever you are ready.
Do you want to do the intro? Do we have an intro?
That's the better question. Do you have an intro?
I feel like that's our intro. We have no idea what we're doing.
Welcome to the show that has no intro, but it does have a name.
And beer.
So it looks like we both brought one of the same thing.
So we'll start with that.
We both brought a. Well, we'll say what it is in a second, but I thought the intro maybe we could go.
That'd be
get that on.
That'd be a little sound bite.
Yeah, I just thought of that.
Should we do it at the same time? Should we count down? I wasn't ready.
Oh man, mine did like the half off thing.
It's embarrassing.
Just re-record it once you open the next beer.
Yeah, we're gonna have to drink a lot of beers to get this right. I think I should probably get closer to the microphone. Okay.
So we both brought here. Is this the right way to start?
Well, should we? So we should say who we are. So,
okay.
I'm Colin.
And my name is John.
And we are the co-founders of beerbroadcast.com. It's a platform for breweries to drop beer releases to their customers via text message, which we think is pretty unique and cool. And
yeah, we started up the business back in January.
Yeah.
And then like immediately afterward, COVID started. Just after we had launched things, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a year with this, which I feel like I'm still not close enough to this. Am I too loud?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I mean, let's see. No, you're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're coming up on a year working on this, and I think the first like 2 months we were still trying to figure everything out, just figure out like what this thing is, try and build this thing that works well for breweries without knowing a whole lot about what they needed, and enter a pandemic.
When I had originally pitched the idea to Colin, the idea wasn't even to be able to buy beer through the site. It was really just like, here's a calendar of all the releases that are coming out. So here's where you can go on this day at this time to go buy this particular beer.
That's right.
And even just the amount that it morphed between that idea and the launch was super far. Because on launch, we had the ability to buy beer. Our first brewery was Source in Colts Neck. Yep. Which is awesome. Source is great.
Yeah, they've gotten us through a lot of the rough patches of the app and trying to work out certain things, dealing with a lot of traffic coming in, which I think is important to mention because I don't think you knew what you were getting yourself into when we first started this, because you pitched such a, relative to what we're doing now, you pitched such a sort of like straightforward concept, and it just like, I guess, blossomed, if that's the right word. Like, it was a positive thing, I think.
Once you start charging money, it gets a lot scarier. Yeah. On that note, actually, we should probably talk about who we are and what we are in relation to this.
Sure.
Just to set the framing for that. So I'm, I guess, the developer side of things. So I'm like typically the one writing like the back-end application, the thing that actually charges you money. If the site is slow, that's my fault. If the site goes down a couple weeks in a row and makes it so you can't buy your beer, which hasn't happened in a very long time, that's also my fault. And then, Colin, what's your fault?
Yeah, so if anything looks bad or doesn't seem like it makes sense, like, I can't think of a good example, but let's say it didn't make sense when you go from like looking at the beer to trying to buy the beer to checking out and you know, actually completing your order. If any of those steps don't make sense, that's on me. If it doesn't look nice, if it doesn't work on mobile, that's on me. If you have a support request and you send us an email and I don't get back to you in 24 hours, that's on me. So those are just some of the hats, which is pretty crazy because I think we both had a sort of general handle on like what we were getting into with all the other jobs that we don't normally do in our day job that this would require, but it's just been so much more once we got started.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I guess what I didn't expect is I thought that there would be a slower ramp up. You know, like that we would go from maybe like 10 people are trying to use the site to then 100 people. But with Source coming on as our first brewery, we were like very quickly at the point where like 1,500 to 2,000 people were trying to come buy beer at the same time. And definitely we were not ready for that.
No, I think, I think this is an important story to tell. Just to sort of give the background of exactly where we were and how we kind of worked our way to where we are now. The very first release that we did, as any good software would have, had bugs. There was an issue with sending out emails to all of the people that were subscribing to Source's page, because the provider we were using throttled, I guess, if that's the right word.
Yep.
Because we were sending so many emails at once, they thought that we were trying to do something bad.
Yep.
And so the release basically failed right out of the gate. And
that was the first ever release. And if I remember correctly, I was on a literal airplane.
Yep.
On the plane Wi-Fi, trying to fix things from the plane.
Yeah, you were somewhere in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
30,000 feet in the sky, literally trying to fix this app that we just tried to launch and immediately failed with. And but everything got worked out and everything went really well. And I think that was like our first taste of what a hiccup looks like with this software.
You want to get them out early. You really want to.
Yeah. I mean, we also definitely spread them out too. Like they didn't happen all at once, unfortunately. But
we would have we would have a bad week, and then the next week we wouldn't change anything major, because we knew that if we had another bad week, that would not be good.
Yeah.
So that's why it took a couple times. That's another kind of interesting thing about starting a software like this or a company like this. Is you start with one customer. So that customer is sourced. They're launching a beer maybe every week, which is what they do. So if you have a problem one week and then you fix it, you have to wait another week to find out whether your fix essentially worked correctly in production.
Yeah.
So your revolution time is a lot more expanded. And we're finally at the point now where we can ship a feature and then we can kind of see that it works immediately instead of having to wait.
Yeah, I think the big things, the big issues that we experienced when we first did it are sort of worked out now, or at least they're known. Which is kind of crazy to say. Like we didn't even know that those were issues until they happened.
Yep.
You don't realize how much goes into it until you go through it. Something happens and then you have to fix it. And so I think with that, like all of the really big things that could happen, luckily are already resolved. And so now it's just like if we want to add a new feature that's like pretty complex or adds a lot of extra steps that touches a lot of other parts of the app, we have to be really careful before we ship that. And so it takes time to like roll that out, test it, find the bugs, which generally happen each time something new goes out. But that's just the nature of software. It's the way it works. And I think we've done a pretty good job like squashing them as soon as they come up, or you've done a good job squashing them as soon as they come up.
I try. It's hard though. I mean, the hardest part is this. We have this like burst traffic that happens, right? When a release goes out, just a bunch of people come at once, and we can't afford to keep all the servers that would be able to serve the burst traffic up all the time, because we'll get into it in a second. Probably we make no money from.
It's a real fun business to be part of.
So given that we make $0, we can't spend we can't spend just insane amounts of money. So we actually have to, when a release is coming, before the release goes out, similar to what Microsoft would do if like the Xbox was launching, they have to spin up a ton of servers kind of guessing at the amount of traffic that's going to come so that they can handle the load that's coming in.
Yeah, that's just another thing that was, I mean, I think we kind of expected it, but we didn't realize that because of the nature of this thing that we built, that we've also sort of created virality. Is that the right?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with words.
I think that's
already.
Right.
But we've
created virality.
We meant to, but I don't think we fully understood the consequences of that virality. Meaning, for example, Source has 6,000 subscribers. 6,000 people get a text message at the exact same second to tell them that there's new beer, and
people aren't just lurking on the site. So you go from like 2 people looking at the site to like 6,000.
Which is also it's the plus and minus. The plus and the positive and negative of it is that the positive is that we can, using this platform, let 6,000 people know without them just kind of waiting around like people traditionally have done with beer releases, waiting for emails, waiting for Instagram posts to then quickly get in their car and go pick up beer. They can just be going about their day, and then they get a text message that says, hey, go check out this beer release, pick it up if you want, if you're quick enough. And then the negative is that 6,000 people just got a text message at the same time, and our site that was sort of just sleeping is now woken up with a ton of traffic just crushing it. And so you had to do a ton of stuff to prepare it for that at any time.
Yep.
Because the goal of scaling this thing to a really large size means we shouldn't have to know when traffic is going to start crushing the site. It just has to be ready. And that's a really cool but also scary thing.
We used to get emails from people. Because the beer tends to sell out pretty quick due to the way that we're reaching out to people through these text message. We would get emails from people that said things like, hey, you need to kick this brewery off the site because like they're only selling 20 beers. And it's like, no, they're selling a lot more than 20 beers. It's just like due to the way the site works, the beer sells out really quick, which is actually another thing that we added, which is when you have a beer in your cart, you are able to purchase that beer.
Yeah, that was a big request. That's something that apparently Microsoft doesn't even do. I've noticed when I've been trying to buy the Xbox, I've had it in my cart 3 times. I've gotten all the way to the point where all my information's entered, and I go and click that place order button, and it just fails every time over and over again.
Yeah.
And
I told you I hacked the site. I think I hacked it. I shouldn't say that too loudly because technically I work for Microsoft. So
yeah, you should probably not tell them what you did.
I didn't hack the site. But
I
do think I found a loophole.
It's just creative.
It's creative.
It's not hacking.
You essentially,
creativity.
For anyone out there, you get the Xbox in your cart.
Some insider scoop right now.
I only found this out through experimentation. You get the Xbox in your cart, and then you're not going to get to purchase it because it's going to be sold out. And then what you got to do is that cart is going to stick around. And then like every 5 minutes, just click again to buy it.
Relentlessly.
And I did that for like 2 days, and I got the Xbox. And I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is pretty good. There's a whole debate. Do you know the game?
I'm still waiting to get an Xbox. I haven't even ordered an Xbox yet, and you're still playing. You're playing.
You can play as the girl version of the character, or the guy version of the character, or let the game pick.
Okay.
And the character it's the same character, like the same power, the same everything, because apparently Assassin's Creed is like they've gotten some flack for like only having male dominated leads in the past, so now they give you the choice of either way that you want to go. And if you let the game pick, it basically makes you the female character for the most of the game.
You're
so
saying if
the female
they pick,
one is the normal one,
so by default they put you as a female character.
Yes, but I don't want to spoiler. This is spoiler alert. Should I do a spoiler alert?
I think it's fine. This is our first podcast. I don't
Okay,
think we're
spoiler
gonna get a ton
alert.
of
We're
views
probably not going to get many viewers or listeners. But basically the thing is, at some point she goes into like God World.
Okay.
And
you're spoiling it for me, by the way.
When she goes to God World,
yeah,
she's a man. If you let the game pick, which is kind of messed up. Like, why would they do that? Yeah, it's like if you've had flack before,
bring him in. Let's bring you've got something to say.
If you've had flack before,
what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even have an Xbox yet, so I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds pretty crazy.
Also, this game is like 80 hours of gameplay. It's bad.
That's great. Oh wait, that's not good.
It's good, but it's like repetitive after a while.
Oh.
What are we drinking, by the way?
Yeah, did we actually ever like talk about this? Go ahead.
I tried to lead with it.
You started and I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're drinking. We each brought 3 beers. The idea is that we would bring 2 beers for ourselves, and 1 beer for each other. And then actually we showed up here and we realized that we both brought the same beer for one of our beers, and so we started with that together. And this is Squeezy from Bradley Brew Project.
And
they're
awesome.
in Bradley Beach, and it's great.
We
went there for the first time that we had been to the brewery.
Yeah.
Pretty recently.
Yeah. It's a very cool spot, very small spot, but like the stuff that comes out of there doesn't taste like a small spot. It tastes like they're.
It's really, really good.
Yeah. You got little Squeezy?
Ooh, Little Squeezy's good.
I didn't
It's
get it.
It's like a slightly lighter, but still it still feels like it has the same like ingredient density, if that makes sense. Like it feels like it has the same. I think sometimes if you make a pale ale version of what this is,
it's just a lighter version of this
IPA.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it's watered down. Basically,
Right.
it feels like the same beer.
Yeah, I doubled up on the
super good.
Squeezies and the Unicorn Girl, I think, milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
Which
that was pretty
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Do
got.
you like the lactose beers? Or are you?
I do. I don't think my body does, but I think they're great.
What does that mean? What happens?
Tummy aches.
Okay.
Tummy aches. Yeah.
Tell me.
Body aches. Doesn't feel great. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. I'm not lactose intolerant or anything, but I think too many at the same time doesn't work for me.
Okay.
But I like to sort of drop one in between some IPAs or something like that.
It seems like people that are lactose intolerant, which I realize you're not.
Yeah.
Seem like they really like the lactose beers. At least that's something I've noticed in the past. And I know a lot, like not a lot, but I know a few people that are lactose intolerant that carry essentially the anti-lactate or lactose pills in their pocket
just so they can drink.
Just so they can drink lactose.
That's a little
beers.
surprising.
Yeah.
I think I don't know the reason. I can't even imagine the reason that they would want to do that, but I think that those beers take all of the great things about lactose and they put them into a beer, which is great on its own. But then you get like all of the, depending on what type of milkshake IPA it is.
Do you remember the ambrosia?
Of course.
You can't forget that.
Can't forget that. Tropical.
So Source in Colts Neck in New Jersey does a really good job with these milkshake beers. So they did. There's a tropical milkshake. There's there's a pineapple one. There's a citrus one. There's ambrosia, that's the best, I think.
There's tropical milkshake
like
and then
tropical.
tropical something else. Excuse me. That was really good. I think they were similar, but I can't remember what differentiated the two. But anyway,
we also just learned in the lobby that apparently the Bradley. Well, I don't know if you knew before, but the Bradley Brew beer names are named by the co-founders who are married, their children. Is that right?
Yeah. That's what we heard.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I hadn't heard that before. I also hadn't really looked into that before, but I think that's pretty cool.
And now my wife's gonna feel real silly because she was like, "Who would name a beer Unicorn Girls Vanilla Milkshake?" And like, you're making fun of a child.
Yeah, children. And it's actually a great name.
It's a great name.
It's one of those names that I can remember. I remembered it just now, and like, no offense to anybody else who names their beers, but like, that's a beer name that I can remember. That whatever that is that you have there.
Yeah. That's nice. Don't ruin it.
Don't know what that says, so I'll never remember how to pronounce that, and I'll never remember to tell people what that is.
You know, to be honest, almost didn't bring this because I don't know how to say it.
See?
So that's going to be interesting.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yep.
And that doesn't even. Anyway,
And I think this is a collaboration.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It looks like slightly. It looks like a knockoff. It looks like an off-brand version of what they normally do because of all that extra
real
stuff
deal.
going on.
I picked it up today.
Really?
You know what else I went to Atlantic Highlands. I bought a bunch of construction squares, brand new, $5 for 3 of them.
What are those?
They're just like, for anyone that's listening that's into woodworking.
This became a woodworking podcast.
Big T square. I bought a combination square and I bought a speed square, all for $5. And they're not great quality, but they are like brand new.
So anybody who does woodworking that's listening to this will know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I would say if you don't know those 3 names, then you're probably not into woodworking.
Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know.
Let's bring it back to beer.
Okay. We'll go back to beer.
we can do another one on woodworking tomorrow.
You know, I'm just gonna keep trying to derail it to woodworking.
I think I sort of expected that.
This is like our life. We go to lunch and we're talking about like work or we're talking about beer.
Yeah.
And then I'm just slowly trying to roll it off.
You're gonna teach me how to build a CNC machine from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna talk about how you had the. See, I do know too much about this now because of you. So the lathe that you had delivered, and tell me exactly how they maneuvered it into your garage.
I'll tell you all about it.
I don't want to know.
They did not put it straight. That's what I will tell you. Okay, we'll go up. It's sticking out into the middle of the garage.
So, Little Squeezy from Bradley Brew Project is...
Squeezy, normal Squeezy.
Sorry, normal Squeezy, right. From Bradley Brew Project is delicious.
And you can get it on Beer Broadcast.
You can get it on Beer Broadcast. They, I believe, still have their release going on the site, and you can go check them out.
Just head on over to the BBP BB.
Yeah, and this, which I don't think we gave it a name, but if we gave this podcast a name, we were talking about it being the Beer Broadcast Podcast? Or Beer Broadcast...
Beer Broadcast.
Yeah, that's right. The Beer Broadcast Beer Broadcast.
No. Tell us.
It's a bad name, right?
No.
Okay,
I've been texting him for a day telling him we needed a name, and I said, I don't think I gave you any ideas.
I think like programmers get obsessed with this like meta idea, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make sense. People have confused.
Okay,
the site
we won't
for
call it that.
Like a broadcasting website, like a place to like actually.
You guys should have a child name your podcast then, because apparently it works out for beers.
That's true. We Little Beer Broadcast. Crepezzi, Keany.
We
The most
have-
amazing beer podcast in the world ever. Can I have chocolate milk now, please, Mom? Show.
That's the
that
name.
kid's then gonna have a podcast about beer, and that's gonna be this is getting crazy. We still need to come up with a name.
We had talked about potentially renaming the site, which is now
Yes.
now it seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, I think we're locked in with
I
that.
think we've gone too far.
Yeah, I mean we're committing
But
pretty
we were going to
hard.
rename the site just so that we could get Beer Broadcast to be the name of the podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
were
a
going to
perfect
change an entire business name just so that we could have a better name for our podcast.
Yeah.
Which sure, that is fine. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of people do that.
So let's talk about. I have a topic. We talked
let's
about.
go.
We recently changed some of the branding on the website.
Right.
Can you tell us about this character with the white hair? And,
It's not.
what
So
his
first
deal
of all, it's
is?
not hair.
Okay.
It is foam from a healthy beer pour.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might criticize the beer pour, considering how much foam is on the top of this guy's head.
Nope. It was meant to be that way.
Yeah. No. Well, that's why. So his name. So we wanted to come up with a name for this mascot that we had designed for the site, and the mascot is just a beer mug with a bullhorn, and he's wearing sunglasses, and he's like shouting. So it's a beer broadcasting something, and so it's not very abstract. It's very literal. And we talked about trying to name this guy. You have to name your mascots, right? You can't they can't just be a mascot without a name. And so I was trying to think of a word that's like related to beer. It was like you drink beer, you chug beer, and then I was like chug. Wait,
I know a mascot name for you.
What is
no, don't say beer broadcast.
No. The artist formerly known as Beer. You get it. You get because then you can have like a Prince thing where it's just like
His
a symbol.
symbol is just a
yeah.
This might be the best podcast we've ever had.
This-
This might be the only podcast we've ever had because we're gonna go and figure this whole thing out right now. This is great. We can do an entire tribute series with this guy.
with this guy. Yeah.
Totally rebrand him like every month with somebody else.
His
Okay.
name is Chug Funny. That's his name.
His name's Chug Funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who you should call him then. If it's gonna be like rebranding all the time, Dr. Brew, Doctor
Ooh,
Who.
Dr. Brew's pretty
Different-
good.
That's a better name.
Maybe like his doctor name is Dr. Brew.
Yeah, but no, like you ever watch the show Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Where like
yeah.
they change
It's really good.
they change the character every couple of years.
Yeah.
There you go. Because then you could change his appearance based on whatever brew you have passing through.
Dr. Brew's pretty good.
Dr. Brew's really good.
We haven't. It's not like we've published the name yet or anything like that.
I wanted to put a little name tag on him. We could do Dr. Brew.
Because then you could
Dr.
appeal to the
pretty
nerds,
good.
and that's a big market.
Yeah. Well, there's a ton of crossover that at least I've seen. I don't know if you. Well, considering we're both in tech and we're making this thing for beer, like there's
There's-
crossover in like.
Kegerator right there.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's definitely crossover in like tech, beer, nerd. I think beer just sort of like crosses every group.
Oh yeah,
Very-
everyone loves beer.
Yeah. And
Anyone who doesn't into commie.
yeah. And we don't want them drinking our beer anyway.
No,
They
exactly.
drink vodka.
Yes.
that-
They only drink vodka.
Is that right?
Just straight
Los
vodka.
Vedanos.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. My wife's Russian, so.
Sorry, missus.
Yeah, she'll be fine with it. She's okay. I don't even know if she's gonna watch this. But
I told my wife that she could listen live when I was leaving the house.
how?
And as I was leaving, she's like, give me the link to listen live. I was like, there's no link.
There could be.
And I,
We could.
Yeah. I saw that there's the Facebook Live. I think we'd have to do that. It would be pretty depressing if we did one right now because it would be like our wives,
Our
I think,
wives,
just watching us talk
and
to
my
each
wife
other.
doesn't have Facebook, so it'd just be like, your wife.
She doesn't have Facebook either.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty bad. Cool. All right, let's get back on track. So
Yeah.
we're talking about Little Squeezy. Nope, we're talking about Regular Squeezy from Bradley
Regular Squeezy.
Beer Project. It's delicious. They sell it on beerbroadcast.com. Go snatch a 4-pack of that. Unicorn Girl Milkshake IPA. Little Squeezy, which is a lighter version of this.
Yep, that's right.
And there's a fourth one, which I can't remember, but I think I tried it when I was there in person. It
Oh,
was very good.
the fourth one is We Playin', which is a sour ale.
Yeah, so then I think I tried
It's
that
good.
in person there.
It's real good.
Um,
And that sounds like the type of name that a child would come up with.
yeah.
It's like, give us one more name. We have one more beer coming out. They're like, We Playin' right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, come on, we just need you to do one more thing for us, and then you go back to what you're doing. Like, we playing.
genius.
Yeah.
They write it down and run out
This
of
is
the room.
perfect. Like, this has nothing to do with the beer that we just made, but it's perfect. So Chug Funny.
No, I think
What made you think of that? Why do you want to talk about him?
I think that's interesting. I think the whole we did a design contest to come up with these new. We have Chug Funny, which is kind of like a funny thing that we bought because that wasn't the main thing we were trying to buy. We were trying to buy this logo, and actually you set out trying not to buy anything like Chug Funny. You wanted to not have. It's like you go to designers and you're like, okay, the name of the site is Beer Broadcast. But like, don't take that literally. And then every submission that comes in
100%
is
literally.
like a beer.
It was a microphone with lightning bolts coming off it. We were like, we don't do.
Please read the description. We're not a podcast.
We're not broadcasting anything in that term. Like it's just people who like put in the words in Google like define broadcast, and they're like, oh, it's a it's a radio show or something.
We got some pretty crazy ones. We got that guy sitting on the. We got a guy sitting on a giant. Barrel, yeah. That was weird.
And he was like driving it, and it looked like one of those old school sort of like Tennessee whiskey labels that you'd see on like Jack Daniels or something similar to that, where it was like that like sort of like sketchy kind of hand drawn clip art thing. And,
but you saw Chug Funny, and you were like, I know I didn't want this, but I need it.
At one point, when we started getting the things that were a little too specific to the name, a little too literal, I changed it and I started asking for very specific things because I was like, maybe we can get a mascot out of this. Like, I know we can get a logo, but maybe we can get a mascot out of it too. And I think that's like a very like tech sort of like software world thing to do. Like every company I've ever worked for has had a mascot, including especially the company we work for now. And that's just like something that carries through with all of these companies. And I don't know if it's a good or bad idea, but I thought it was a cool idea to have something that's different from our logo that we can put on stuff like, like stickers or whatever we do in the future. And so I started trying to like direct people in that sort of area of a concept of like, what if it was a mascot? What if it was a mascot as like a beer mug, and the beer mug was like shouting, and so I got a lot of weird stuff for that too. But
you never know what's gonna stick around long term. Which is why, if you're listening, okay, presumably the only people that are listening to this version, this first episode, are people that have, so the podcast is wildly popular in the future, then they've gone back and they're listening to episode 1 now.
They're digging through.
So if time machines have been invented, please email us in the past and tell us what the logo looks like.
Wouldn't that have already happened?
What?
Wouldn't we have already gotten that email?
You're assuming this time traveler is quite lazy, so they come after the show airs.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? But that's not what you asked for.
Oh, they could email us at any point. That's
I'd like for them to have emailed us before we went and spent money on a new logo, and they could have told us what to do, and then we'd have the perfect logo from 10 years in the future. Now.
Yeah, just email us as early as feasible.
But then, okay.
Right.
But then technically that already happened. So what you're saying is, okay, so let's make it really clear for the time traveler. We don't want you to email us anytime before right now.
Mm-hmm. Are these time synced?
Did your phone go off? Did you get a text message or something?
No, I didn't get anything. I got some likes on my woodworking stuff.
I'm shocked that a time traveler wouldn't spend all of their energy to come give us a good logo. Unless we become influential in the future. This is getting way off topic, which I love, but
we gotta go off topic. You actually had a topic. You had an idea for
I do, topic. Yeah, and we'll get to it, but I feel like we're onto something right now because there might be time travelers listening to this. It has to be successful for them to listen to it. Or never mind.
So the coolest part for me about Beer Broadcast, or one of the coolest parts, is like I think we set out to originally the goal was, okay, I'm going to go a little bit of background on how we started or why we started. I used to have a job where I would work in the city, and every Friday at noon, Carton would release beer. And I would get an email that was like, we're releasing regular coffee right now. It's like, just come by, and the first 400 people to get over to the brewery can have this 4-pack of regular coffee. And it's like, I have a job. Like, I can't
impossible.
Just leave, And actually, it's funny because like when we started the site, we both worked from home, so We didn't
Yeah.
really need to start it. I could have just went over to the brewery. But
Yeah, we were doing fine. We could have.
so, so we started the site to fix that problem. But one thing I didn't see, and that happened, is that the site is kind of able to level the playing field for all of the different breweries, whether or not they have a big name or they have a big location.
Yep.
They can do the same stuff because we're essentially taking these tools that maybe a good case is Other Half, which they've custom built or had custom built an application that does a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Well, Carton has that too. Carton's own website is, I don't think they do all of the announcement and alert stuff, but they have.
They have the beer there.
I don't even know if you can buy
Although
it.
today, I picked up this beer today,
Yeah.
and it wasn't on the website.
So
So
you
like
were
there's there's something out of sync.
Right.
Maybe then that's the hardest part with websites in general,
Yeah.
or breweries having websites, or breweries that use Square sites. Is like keeping them up to date with
Yep.
what you actually have is very difficult.
And those things that they can manage themselves, unless they have a tech person on staff or on call that's just quick and can make updates really fast for them.
So breweries like Carton or Other Half have to pay people to keep that site up to date, and they
Right.
potentially have to pay to have an application in some cases developed that's custom.
Right.
So
And those things all take time to
Our
make
goal
small updates to.
is to make it so that
Also.
all those breweries, every brewery, can
Yeah.
have access to the same set of tools.
Yeah. Giving them all access to the same tech that a big brewery with a really complex distribution model or whatever they do, a release model, level the playing field for those breweries to be able to do that for all of their beer releases, whether they're releasing, 2 cases of beer or 300 cases of beer, whatever it may be, they all have or can have access to the same set of tools and technologies and the platform that hopefully helps them scale to be bigger than they potentially could have been, or helps them scale more quickly than they could have been.
And when
By
we
giving
first
access.
launched, I was like, I think I bought the first beer that launched, and I was like, I wish I could just buy like we envisioned all the beer like
Yeah.
this. And it's taken like 8 months, but finally we're hearing that from other people. We're hearing like
Yeah.
other people say, I wish I could just buy all the craft beer that I buy like this.
Right.
So that's hopefully like how the site expands over time, is that people like that we don't really pay for marketing. Actually, we don't pay for marketing. The best we do is like we email a brewery. So if you get an email and you're a brewery and you happen to listen to this, like it's us. Like we're writing those emails one at a time.
We are a 2-person company, and this is it.
Yeah. So if the email is like worded awkwardly, it's because I'm a developer and
Yeah.
that's just like what I do.
Yeah, that's one of our sales pitches. When we sit down with anybody, it's like, hey, if we seem awkward, it's because we are.
Yeah.
It's because we're not salespeople. We don't know what we're doing, other than we know that we're building something pretty cool. We think you can benefit from it. It's super affordable. It's free right now, so it's extremely affordable. And you'd be crazy not to use it, because it's literally a platform built specifically to get you in touch with your customers in a split second, to let every single one of them know that you have new beer for sale. And if only we could just like release that data and show people what actually happens behind the scenes when the text message goes out to
We could
2,000,
we could
5,000
release
people.
some anonymized version.
Yeah, that's true.
But the hope is that over time that we don't even need that. And basically the way that it works is that breweries just hear people coming in and saying like, hey, over at X brewery, they use the software that makes it really easy to buy the beer.
Yeah, definitely the goal. And then once that gets to scale and there's more breweries selling it, we can do really cool things with it for both the breweries and the customers. We can make it really easy for people to find you, to learn what they like, and then sort of create this database of preferences for people and push them towards your brewery to buy your beer. The example I always use is like, there was the All Together beer that was released. I think like almost all breweries, at least in New Jersey, participated in that. It was one of, I think, the most popular releases from every single brewery. Like every single brewery sold out of that beer when they made it. And what it was just every brewery used the same recipe to make. I think it was an IPA, and all of the proceeds went to restaurant or
Bartender.
yeah, like any service industry people who were out of a job. The money was to go to them to support them during the pandemic. And what I always think is a cool example is like if we just had scale at that time and we had enough people using it, we could have said, okay, this brewery just sold out, but this brewery, which is only a half mile further away from you, still has some in stock. Go grab it. And then we can start pushing people towards other places. It's great for discoverability, to learn about new breweries. It's great for your own sort of preference building and learning. Like I just discovered milkshake IPAs from Source. I didn't know what that beer was before Source. Source is still my number one because I haven't tasted a milkshake brewery as good as milkshake IPA as good as that they make. But I'm a milkshake IPA fan now, and so as much as I would buy it from them, I look for it everywhere else too. So if I could, as a user, as a customer, find that somewhere else, that would be super powerful for me. And so that's sort of
that goes into an interesting point about so like people often compare beer broadcasts to Untapped, for example, but one thing that has become very obvious that is different about what we're doing versus what Untapped is doing is that Untapped really has this focus toward the consumer. So you're worried about whether you're checking in on a beer, you're worried about how the check-ins change over time. You're like they can recommend things easily cross brewery. But because we're so close to the brewery, meaning like that their sales are actually flowing through us, we have to be a little bit more cautious. We have to be kind of we're more a tool for the brewery and less for the consumer.
Right.
Which is interesting. I mean, it's like a different website. So anyone that's out there thinking like that we're trying to compete with Untapped, that's not the goal. The goal is to provide breweries the best tools that they can have to sell their beer online. Now, what Colin is saying is like if we had the way to recommend other beers that you might like, as long as we do that in a way that doesn't take sales away from a brewery or put it on the brewery page, and as long as we keep that on like our general pages, the separate pages, and it's only for the benefit of the consumer, that can be a way to bring more people to all the breweries. Because someone doesn't buy Source beer and then not buy alternate ending beer.
They
buy both.
And that is a good thing. We want, as much as we are trying to create scale and build this thing up to hopefully sort of spread outside of New Jersey, wherever it is used, we want it to be a resource for the local small business breweries to be able to grow and scale and reach more customers. A really cool thing that we saw was we have some placeholders, breweries on the site to start building a following on their behalf. We're not, we're not claiming to be them. We're not trying to sell anything on their behalf. It's just a blank page that says subscribe. And if they ever sign up, like surprise, you already have like 800 subscribers, which is a really cool thing. But what we've seen is we just kind of started sprinkling those into the site. And every once in a while, like I know I've gone and checked certain placeholder pages and they're up to like 400, 500 subscribers, and these people are just finding it on their own. These people are all
if you're out there and you work at Jug Handle, you work at Keany, you work at Troon, like we have a good tool for you. We already have a lot of subscribers.
They already know that they have a great following locally and on the internet in general because right now it's the only way to really buy their beer. But to be able to sort of harness this software and not just post something on Instagram and have 10% of your 50,000 followers learn about your release, and then 3 hours later the next 10%, and it's like a slow rollout. Like, level the playing field. Let's let everybody get the. I thought about bringing one of those.
So stupid for not putting it in there. What the hell am I doing?
But then you're not showing off what you're
drinking. These things are great. This is our sponsor this week is Yeti.
No, don't say that.
Okay. That's... sorry. These.
I mean, that'd be cool, but I don't think we're allowed to say that because it's not true.
No, these are great. So they're basically like the beer. They make them in 16 ounce and 12 ounce, and they make them in a skinny 12 skinny 12 as well. It just fits right in there and it keeps it cool. It's like a koozie, but it's stainless steel and it's insulated. They're super easy. And they actually work a lot better than a koozie. They really do.
Yeah, I have one for White Claws also, which it was a mistake, cool. But cool. I thought I bought one of those, and then I quickly corrected it. But I still now have one for White Claws, which I had a phase.
Yeah. Is it over?
There's a lot in my fridge still. I haven't
Yeah.
drank all of them, so the phase is going to
Well,
come
you
back.
were coming to that party, and I bought like
Yeah,
a lot, and
Yeah.
I've got a lot of White Claws.
yeah. Well,
If anyone's
I do too.
out there, you know, like.
I have a lot of
So what are you gonna drink?
Smirnoff.
What are you gonna do?
this.
Yeah.
What?
What do you got?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about this. This is honestly one of my new favorite beers right now. Speaking of, I don't know what you can see from there, but I'm wearing a Duclaw hat. Sweet Baby Jesus is top number 1 right now on my list of beers that I like and want to drink for the rest of my life. So shout out to Duclaw and Sweet Baby Jesus. Unfortunately, I can't find it anywhere near me. Trying to work it out, get it in stores near me, but
He's actually calling distributors to try to get it moved. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a special phone claw to
Phone
Duclaw.
claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's perfect. Anyway, I'm drinking a new beer from Alternate Ending Beer Co. in Aberdeen, New Jersey, called What If. It's an IPA. It's definitely top 5. We tried it. I think Wednesday we were there. We were trying some of their food. We got a bunch of their beers, and
That was our first time sitting down for food there.
yes, yeah,
So they opened, and then there was like a series of COVID related, us not being able to get theirs.
Yep.
And then we finally did it.
yeah. Then we finally made it, and it's an awesome spot. I mean, I think they've been in development for like 2 years with that space. They had to do a ton of work because it used to be a movie theater. They had to level the entire dining space, bar area, lounge space. I think there was like ramps and stuff because it's a movie theater.
I think like a movie theater, the seats are tilted like that, and apparently that was actually concreted in. It wasn't just like some structure, so they
Yeah.
had to like shave it
Yeah.
or something.
So I
knows?
don't know. I don't even know
Yeah.
what they did, but you wouldn't be able to tell walking into it.
But it's in
a
an
great
old
space.
movie theater, and they kept like one of the. I don't know if they kept a screen or they built a screen.
They kept a lot of.
They kept a lot of seats, and
You were late for the tour.
25 minutes late. And
yeah.
the tour was only 15 minutes long.
Yeah, you were very late. Yeah, but it was good. It was they showed a lot of the cool stuff that they kept from the theater. Whoa.
What is? Tell us about the beer.
Yeah. So what do you want to know? It's
Okay. Well, what kind of?
7.5 ABV.
Okay.
This
Style?
one style. I said API. IPA.
API.
I don't know. I can tell you what it says on the can. I don't know how to describe it myself because I'm not really qualified or experienced in that at all. But I think for me, out of IPAs, it's like probably my top.
Yeah,
probably
you
top 2.
you ordered it twice in a row.
I did, yeah.
It's great.
I ordered
We
it.
normally don't do that.
The draft version is just any draft version of beer is obviously always better, but I liked it so much that I think I bought 1 or 2 4-packs. This being one of them. What do you have?
Okay. This is from Carton.
I want you to say the name of it.
I can't even pronounce the name of it.
No, say very clearly, and because you know how to pronounce it. So go ahead and pronounce it exactly the way it's supposed to be pronounced, and tell us a little bit about it. You got one try.
Okay. So this is a collaboration beer from Carton with a brewery called. I don't even know how to say the name of the brewery. I'm gonna say Tellier, although something inside me wants to pronounce it Tellier.
Mm.
And the beer is called Anenyono.
Can I see it? Can I see the name? Oh, that's actually
Aneono? Aneono.
that's you might be right.
If I said it right, then like and subscribe. No. Okay. So what we got here, we've got a magician waving a wand,
Oh, we're describing the
At
labels. I got it.
a person playing a drum set
Mm-hmm.
with, by the way, 3 rack toms.
That's unusual.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh God.
Is it more?
Yes.
Is a magician though?
The floor tom is next to the hi-hat. Any drummers out there?
Who designed this label?
Look at that. Look at the floor tom.
You need to see it, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you a drummer?
Yeah.
You play? Yeah.
We're both
There you
drummers
go.
also, so this is driving You want them watching you.
And then you do a weird dance.
Yeah. Well,
Where you
a very specific dance.
kind of put your hand. Yeah.
The chicken dance.
Downtown is closed.
That's what I'm hearing. I hope that's not true. I hope the space just like reopens as something similar, or I don't know if like new owners are buying it or if it's been saved or what. But the last thing I saw, which was months ago, was that they were closed.
I was a little okay. So I know we have a history in downtown, but I was always a little torn on downtown.
Okay.
So one, we've been there a bunch of times, and it's either been like super crowded or super dead. We've been,
Yes.
all different types of downtown we've been to.
And it could be the same exact night just a week later, and it's just a totally different type of night.
Yes, yeah. But what is the vibe? What were they going for? Like, was it a club?
I think it was exactly what they got. I think the people that knew definitely knew which nights to be there.
Okay.
I just don't think we knew.
How do you know? Is there a Facebook?
You gotta
group?
know somebody.
It's not Facebook.
You gotta know somebody.
It's TikTok.
You know somebody
It's
that knows
TikTok.
somebody. I don't know, TikTok.
You're on TikTok.
I am on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I watch TikTok and it's addicting. But now TikTok for Instagram and TikTok for Twitter and right.
Can't call it that.
That's what they're all doing though.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I guess.
Oh, let me put this in here.
I guess we're crossing over into the tech world a little bit right now, or the TikTok world. I don't know. Yeti.
Sponsored by
Yeti.
I don't know what to say
That would be a great sponsor.
Yeti. Call us.
We've got no followers, no watchers yet. Hopefully.
So we don't know necessarily what we're doing with the podcast.
No, I think we're
We
kind of
just know
trying to
that
find
it's a
a way a little bit.
good idea.
I think it's fun. I think it's a good idea and it's a fun idea and it keeps us talking about the things that we want to do and then also keeps us sort of like on track with I think it'd be like fun to bring in new beers every time and just talk about them a little bit, whether it's trying to describe the can art or actually talk about the beer like we know anything about it. But yeah, I think we're kind of, with this being the first one, we're just sort of trying to figure out the content a little bit, but I didn't expect it to be anything more than just like us talking about whatever kind of comes up. And
Yeah, no, it's great.
I like critiquing labels, which is kind of a fun idea.
That is a fun segment.
I think that would be cool.
We need a theme song for that segment.
Can we do theme songs here?
It's a theme song.
Eventually. We gotta work our way
patch
up
in
to
some
it.
theme songs.
Yeah.
It's a drum solo where the snare is a floor tom.
It's a drum solo where there's 3 rack toms and they only play the cymbals.
And it's played by a Muppet.
Yeah. And you can only play the drum set that you find on a Google search. It's the first one that pops up.
Oh, God.
This sounds great. This sounds like a segment. This sounds.
It does seem okay. So you're drumming, right?
Yeah.
3 rack toms is like. I think we is like, that's my drum set. It's a normal drum set.
I'm a
One
beginner,
rack
and I
tom.
think I need all of these to make all the sounds that I hear in music. Yes.
Have either of you ever watched
Yeah.
Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah.
It's Jason Segel's character's drum set.
Yeah.
Where he can't play at all,
Yep.
but he's got this crazy fucking elaborate setup that
Yeah.
only a pro would ever need.
And his idea of being a good drummer is hitting every single thing on that kit at least once every few seconds, or else he's not playing well. Oh, I was gonna say pull it up. We've got to see it.
Oh, we can pull stuff up.
This is great.
All right. Yeah, so 2 is like pretty normal. 1 is one of 2 things. It's either I'm a jazz drummer, or like I've realized that I don't need both these things.
Wait, does he have the tom too?
He has 2 at least.
Well, what does he have there?
Oh no, what's that on
Do
the
you see that right
on the
there?
far
Oh,
left?
no.
He's got a third one.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Oh man.
This is a monstrosity. It's giving me a headache.
What color is that kit?
It's like sea blue.
Oh, he's
and
got also
flames.
he's got the
and
small bass
turquoise.
drum.
He's just got a mashup of different.
That's another
I
thing.
think
The
this
small
is a
bass
bunch
drum.
of different kits.
He just went to a bunch of different garage sales and just pieced it together over time.
It's
Oh, look at that one right there. Right
Oh,
where your,
that one
right where your
actually.
mouse is.
That one
This
there is
one?
Neil Peart, who used to
that's scary.
he used to spin and essentially play like 3 different sets at once.
honestly one of the coolest low-key drum kits I've ever seen is a video. It's in a video of Michael Jackson's drummer, and he's playing along to, I think it's Beat It on this drummer YouTube channel. And the way that he has his kit set up is that whenever he hits a crash, he lifts his arms up behind him. And
Oh yeah.
it's like. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen, and it's so low, and he's so low key and chill about it, where he's just like, yeah, but then just goes.
That's
right
something
back
that
in.
only Michael Jackson's drummer could possibly
Right.
be able to do. That's because you have to. If you're Michael Jackson's drummer, it means that all the sounds that are in Michael Jackson's head need to be able to come out of your hands and feet onto a drum kit.
Oh,
And
100%.
I think most of the beats that are in his songs are played with a real drum kit. Like I don't think he has the concept of anything like digital or like, you know. I mean, so like he's got keyboard players and stuff, but like.
Well, Mike would record his demos beatboxing. There's like
that doesn't surprise me.
If you listen to the demo for Beat It, it's literally like every single drum part that we hear is what Michael beatboxed.
That's amazing.
So
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's
It's when you're in a band for a while, you get that like, you're like it's like.
Yeah.
I feel like drummers also make better producers because I feel like
they can hear it all.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they have a better sense of the rhythm of the track and also
Yeah.
like the final sound. So
And everything's kind of built around that sort of foundational piece of the. That's why drummers record first. Everybody knows that.
Tell us the thing, why you got into drumming. Let's hear it.
No.
It's one of my favorite stories. It's
terrible.
very similar to the thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean it's like you saw it and you were like, yes.
on the spot.
So it's not. I mean, this isn't going to land with a lot of people that don't listen to us.
Right.
So,
We could pull it up again.
so all right. So there's John and I both have actually very similar taste in music. Growing up in the early 2000s, like in like high school in the early 2000s, we were both into the sort of like pop punk scene. And
If it's the future, send us an email and tell us if it's still cool.
totally will be cool because there's
Bowling
gonna be
for Soup will forever be cool.
Bowling for
That's
Soup is
right.
actually really good.
great.
Bowling for Soup is currently the voice of Chuck E. Cheese.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. The lead singer Jared.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not mad at it either.
No,
I
I'm
was
alright with it.
I was watching a commercial one day and I was like, "Bowling for Soup? Why are you singing about Chuck E.?" Oh, your voice is coming out of the mouse. What happened?
Wait, so he's not the voice of the company. He's the literal voice of the
Chuck E.
brat,
Cheese,
Chuck
yeah.
E. Cheese.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
making a lot of money off
Wow.
that. I bet.
Well, not right now.
What is
Well,
what
it's
is
true.
Chuck E. Cheese's middle name?
Entertainment. Don't ask. I
Damn.
only know that
That was
Wow.
way too fast.
because I worked for them for a very brief time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well, not actually. I almost wrote a song for them actually. Like
Really?
Like in the I have a very interesting music career path. I've worked for Thomas the Tank Engine. I wrote some songs for them.
I love a good.
I
Thomas
wrote.
the Tank Engine.
I almost got to write for Bob the Builder, and then I got a chance to write a demo for a Chuck E. Cheese song, and they ended up not using it. But it was so funny because the song, if they had picked it, it would have went on an album.
Oh wow.
But
Your
yeah,
royalties for
that
life.
was when I found that out because I was trying to figure out what the fuck his middle name was because I needed it for the song, and I had to email someone at the company, and they were like Entertainment. I was like,
So
okay, sure, why not?
that's that explains a lot. I was gonna say, my son just got through a phase of like all the kids shows, and there's some. I have the song in my head right now for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or no, Mickey Mouse Roadster Racers.
Oh, that's a good show.
And the intro song, I know it by heart, and it's because it's a good song. It's
Well,
just
you
a good
know-
song.
Well, you know who made music for that show, right?
No.
They Might Be Giants.
Really?
Yeah. They've
Favorite? They might
That
be
would-
Giants song. Everyone got your.
I don't have a favorite.
Mine's
actually.
Birdhouse in Your Soul.
I
Really
was never a big enough fan to know the names of their songs.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I respect them as artists, where it's like.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense though, because it is such a catchy song, and honestly, a lot of these bands like they do kind of fit because they have that like sort of poppy, like fun vibe to a lot of their music.
Well, they also went like full kids records for a couple of years. Like,
Sure.
they,
They
were,
did,
they
yeah.
put out.
They put out the Science album.
Yes.
Bare Naked Ladies did a thing too.
Bare Naked Ladies did a couple of different people. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, oh no, that was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. But yeah, they wrote the theme song for that. Anyway,
So how'd you get into drumming? Come on, what's the
So
song?
okay, so
Go ahead.
sorry.
That's
that's
weird.
okay.
That was a weird tangent.
this
sorry.
is a fun break. This was cool. I didn't
This is
because I
great.
didn't know that there was a reason behind like why I loved all these songs, and now it makes a lot of sense that it's probably because it's being written by people that I used to listen to when I was younger, and it's nostalgic, and I love it. So, so the way this ties in is that I was learning how to play the guitar in high school, and it just wasn't clicking with me. Like there's too many individual parts to be moved to play guitar, which like I totally respect guitar players for that reason. It's not just your hands, it's your fingers, and it's both hands and both sets of fingers, which was just like too much for me. And I also just wanted to like get more energy out. I wanted to play music, but I had sort of like this inner sort of like beat kind of happening in my head, and guitar wasn't cutting it. So I knew I was interested, and I saw a music video from Simple Plan, and in the music video, I think it was "Addicted" was the song by Simple Plan, and to this day, it's great. It's a great music video. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the song. It's either that or I can't remember the name of the other one. I think that's it though. And there's a breakdown where their drummer is just playing in slow motion, but he's playing a very basic just I don't know what he's playing exactly, but it just fired me up, and I was like, this is it. This is what I need to be doing. I need to be playing the drums. I'm dropping the guitar. I'm switching to drums, and I think I pretty much overnight switched from playing guitar to playing drums. I went to the same place to learn the drums that I was learning guitar in Redback at Monmouth Music Store, and
when I was first picking an instrument in school, I was like, I want to be a drummer. So I went in there. I was like, I'm going to do the drums. They were like, we're all full up on drummers, but we have this trombone. And I was like, cool. So like walking home with the trombone.
I get to be part of a ska band. Yeah.
You're going to still have a lot of openings for that trombone because it's not for me.
So I did the trombone. I did it for years. And then eventually my parents got me a drum set.
Hey, the slot's opened back up. You still interested?
I remember sitting down at the drum set, and I would hit them so timidly because I was like afraid to break them. Mm-hmm. My older brother came in and pushed me out of the way, and he just like slammed on this set so hard, but I had no idea what he was doing. And I was sitting off to the side like, you're gonna break my drum set right now, like you're gonna. And it didn't break. And then as soon as he left the room, I was like, that was it. I went back to the drum set and like
start hammering away.
I was like, I can hit these things.
Yeah,
it's nice. It is nice, like as a release, you know.
It's
like,
also great exercise. People
forget
that
exercise.
Part. Yeah. I will admit I am not as active as a drummer as I used to be. I miss doing it, but when I would drum for like hours and forget about like what I was playing,
yep.
I would come out of it and be like, okay, I don't need to go to the gym for like 3 days because then I'd wake up, I'd be drenched, and then my arms would be tired the next day, or I'd just be like, okay, that's enough.
Like, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I just played the drums for 2 hours.
You should try an electric set. Have you ever tried one?
Oh yeah, I've tried electric sets.
You
it's
can't
just
hammer
like
them though.
I just fell out kind of playing because I got more into just the producing in the box kind of way of things, where I was just like setting up mics was just too much, and I was just like, okay, now I'm just a Logic Pro. Mm-hmm. but I love drumming. I miss it so much. I gotta get back into it because I sold my kit, and now my brother picked it up, and he's a better drummer than I ever was, which is really fucking annoying.
You gotta beat him.
I'm like, motherfucker, you used my kit first, and then he got his own Questlove drum kit.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what's a Questlove drum kit?
Quest released like a signature drum kit a couple of years ago. My brother was like one of the, I think like 500 people that were able to get one. I don't know if it's still out, but it was really fucking cool. It's a really cool like small little kit, but it's really funny because it's totally Questlove size.
Yeah.
But I digress.
See, he's somebody who plays with, I think, a smaller kit, but he can turn that kit into. It just sounds like a whole orchestra.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I love watching him play because he doesn't look like he's trying, which is kind of frustrating. When he plays the tiny, I don't know how many pieces it is, but whenever I see him play, it's like
he has not a lot of pieces.
Yeah. But he's making.
I think it's a 4-piece drum kit.
Is it?
I think it's literally just that.
Jesus, and he makes it sound like what Jason Segel's character probably thinks he's supposed to make it sound like.
I mean, any good drummer can do that. Like, it's a real talent. Like, it's like that's why I know a lot of people diss him, but like that's why I really appreciate Ringo Starr's drumming abilities in his Beatles days, because they also had a 4-piece or 5-piece drum kit, and you get this amazing ass sound out of something just so basic and bare. Yeah. So I more props, man.
Yeah, right. I remember when I first had my, we all had our first like starter kit. I think it was like $300 probably for a 5-piece, something like that. And I thought it was the kit that was making me sound bad. And then I remember my drum teacher had, he purposely had a bad kit set up in our practice space. And he was like, this is basically the same kit that you have. I'm going to play this right now. and I'm going to show you that it's not the kit. That like any kit can sound good, and
You just require tuning, right?
yeah,
Like
tuning, but also like knowing how to hit it right and how to play it, and you know, you're not just playing it at one intensity or one volume. You sort of just like, it's the finesse,
dynamics. It's
yeah,
all
yeah, and he played this thing like it was a $5,000 kit, and I was like, holy shit, it's not the kit, it's me.
I have a question for you guys then. That's a follow up. What was the first drum solo you learned? Because I know mine off the bat.
basket case, like coming out of the intro.
Yeah,
That's me. Yeah,
the Beatles, The End. That was
Nice.
because it was like it's just so easy, but it sounds so complicated. But that when I nailed that the first time, I was like, I'm a pro.
Sometimes you have those feelings. Like I'll play the electric kit and I'll like hear it in the headphones and be like, is that me right now?
Like is that
like
it?
I'm not great, but like that's me.
There's no way.
Yeah. I think mine wasn't a solo. It was the intro to, I think it's First Date by Blink-182, which isn't complicated, but it was like I had to learn a lot of new things to sort of put it all together, and I still can't play it that great, but that was one of the first times that I think maybe this is sort of like the background to that question is like, what's the first thing you really broke down into pieces that you could sort of learn to build back up and play, and that was one of the things where I sort of like, I looked at it and I was like, it's not a drum solo, but it's, for me at least, this was my drum solo. It was like taking a Blink-182 song, trying to deconstruct it, and then like learn how is that thing that sounds like a drum roll, but it's like only happening for a split second. How does that lead into?
How does that work? What's the intricacies of that?
And how do you move your hands so quickly between the snare and the rack tom for it to sound seamless?
See, my song like that, I'm not ashamed of my answer, but I will admit it's fucking corny. Simple Plan. What's New Scooby Doo?
Yes. Yes.
The drum. When I was able to learn how they played that, because funny enough, it's actually quite a complicated drum part to figure out. So when I was able to finally figure it out, I was like, "Fuck yes!" Like it's the most validating feeling, especially when I would play it in the headphones, but I would also record it on the outside, like shitty audio, of course. But like then play it back and match it with the song and realize I was hitting every single beat. And I was like, I'm a rock god!
That's like talking about the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse stuff. Like these bands are playing songs that sound nostalgic because it's them, but they're playing it for like Scooby Doo or for Mickey Mouse or whatever. Like there's something about that's really cool as an adult watching these shows back.
And it's happening more and more. And I'm really appreciative of that. Like I love it when artists will let their guard down in a sense to be like, all right, I'll record a song for Mickey Mouse. Like that sounds dope.
They're also probably getting paid
nostalgic
really
thing
well
is
for
super
that
interesting.
too.
Well, Disney, it's either hit or miss. It depends on the artist sometimes. Like they might be giants, probably got a nice little payday. Smaller indie artists.
Well, it also depends on how much play it's gonna get too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, it's like, oh, you're writing the theme song. Oh, you're set.
Yeah, you're gonna get royalty checks for the rest of your life. That's never going away. It's like Sesame Street.
You ever heard
That's
of?
Gonna be generational.
Have you ever heard of Adam Schlesinger? Does that name sound familiar?
Yes.
Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah.
He's actually one of those guys too that would write songs, but you would find them in the most random of places. Remember, you ever heard of an animated series called Tough Puppy? Does that sound familiar?
No.
Well, it was Fairly Odd Parents, same creator.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote the theme song for that. And Adam has also written stuff for like the Fresh Beats Band and
Beats Band.
And
I don't
like
know that one.
no, like just kids projects. But like it's also funny because I remember him from this dope ass band Fountains of Wayne. Now he's writing these jams for these little kids and they're actual kind of bops. So it's like, what the fuck? Where's the bridge? And then when I realized that was a thing that people just did because it's like, oh, it's fun and it's a paycheck. I was like, shit, I didn't know that was an option.
It's like the first time I heard that Aquabats was writing. They did kid. They were one of those like bands. That really
I love that band and I love that show. The Aquabats Super Show. It's so good. But they were.
Speaking of nostalgic songs, I think one thing that I've noticed recently is like I'll hear like a Bruno Mars song, and my first reaction is like I've heard this song before, which is a weird feeling to have when you hear a song. You're like, I know this song.
Are you saying it because he writes music that sounds just nostalgic?
It just
nature?
sounds. It
100%.
sounds like it's from. It sounds like it's from that
90s
era that you've already heard.
His last album is that to his T. Like if you
so
listen to
good.
that,
24
Karat Magic. It's like you listen to that and it's like, oh, I'm in the '80s listening to like New Jack Swing right now. Like this is this is a throwback. It's a clear throwback.
I don't know why, but I listen whenever I'm out, whenever I'm sitting outside and it's like fall or like middle of summer, anytime it's warm enough to sit outside, and I happen to like cigars. So anytime I have a cigar and it's warm and I'm sitting outside, that combination of things, Bruno Mars is on, and that album in particular, I don't know why, and I don't.
Well, it's a fantastic album.
It is. It's easy to listen to. It's that.
I like that Mirrors album by Justin Timberlake. That's a good album.
I don't know. I know that song, but I don't know the album.
Every song on that album is great.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I like the song that he did for the Trolls movie.
See,
Can't Stop the Feeling.
Can't Stop the Feeling.
Yeah, that's a great song.
That shit was
Trolls movie's good. I gotta say
I do like the Trolls movies. I do enjoy.
He's a great producer
too. Did you see the second one?
Yes, I did. And yeah, I think he's this very slept-on producer.
Second one's good.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny because there's some really cool behind-the-scenes footage of the Trolls movie, but it's a clip of Timberlake producing "Can't Stop the Feeling," and you hear him in the studio, and it's funny because they have to bleep him because he's like, "Hey, that's not fucking bad."
there's I don't know if it was like one of those like HBO originals or something. It's called Llewellyn Davis, I think the movie was called. Anyway, it's about this guitar player. He's an artist. He's like trying to. I don't know exactly his story. I didn't actually watch the full movie. I just saw that, and I found out there was like a behind the scenes of the making of the music for the movie. I was like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And so, because this guy's like, it's supposed to be like about his life and the music that he writes, and so they kind of go into details about like the music that they wrote specifically for this character in this movie.
For the movie, yeah.
And they bring in the guys from Mumford and Sons, and they bring in Justin Timberlake to help write that music. It's that type of music. And there's this scene where they're trying to come up with the chorus of one of these songs. And I mean, you've just got Mumford and Sons, which when you put them together, their voices are incredible. Justin Timberlake is in there mixing in, and he's like, something's missing. And he realizes that there's just this bass line that's missing, and everybody knows Justin Timberlake's voice, falsetto, pretty high. I think he's the one who provides the bass line of that. He's like, I'll do it, and he drops in like real low, and you hear the same. It's incredible because you hear them trying to get the song perfect while they're recording it, and then he finally realizes that it's missing this bass line, and as soon as he adds that, it's like chills. You're like, holy shit, that's the thing. And that's why I was saying he's like a great producer because he can hear the pieces that are missing from just the vocals. Like, forget the music, forget the everything else. It's like
Mickey Mouse taught him.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're hiring the good guys to play these music, because they know they've got a legacy to uphold. This is full circle, and I'm glad we got here.
My son loved Can't Stop the Feeling, by the way. And Emerson,
it's a great song.
If it's the future, you're going back to the classics, just email me with the Time Machine email thing.
The one that we're talking about that everybody has in the future.
If I embarrassed you, nope.
Nothing.
We're good.
He's very proud of you.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so I think we're kind of running out of time, so I want to get to this topic that
Yeah, when did we start? We started
like
8. Roughly 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we're coming up on.
You guys booked till 9:30, so you're good.
Yeah, is this right? 9:17 is right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's use these last 13 minutes to talk about this topic. I already kind of warned you about it. I think it'd be really interesting to talk about the first time we drank beer. I know that I had a really interesting experience with it, and you kind of like, in my case at least, like I was always around it. Like, I always saw like family and friends, like older friends and relatives and everybody, at holiday parties and stuff. And you don't drink until you're 21, but like nobody waits until they're 21 to drink beer. So
you kind of pre-gave me this question, and the first thing I thought about was, after I had kids, I went back and I talked to my mom, and I was like, what were you doing all those times that we were at those play dates and stuff? She's like, we were getting super drunk in the next room.
Sure.
Yeah. So
that's why I look forward to Halloween every year, because I am definitely not trick-or-treating. That red Solo cup is not.
But as a kid, it's not obvious.
No.
And there'd be like one parent that came outside and he'd like play hockey with us, and they're like, "Oh, Tony didn't drink."
You know what's crazy?
Like,
I had my mom point that out to me this year. Like, I was fixing my car in my driveway with my friend because Halloween to us was just another day, and then all the parents are trick or treating, and then I'm like, everyone's got Solo cups.
Yeah.
They're all
Just
shit-faced.
looks. Yeah.
They're
Oh yeah.
all loaded. It's great.
We were
So when
at
you go to your
a.
parents when you're little, and you're like, "Hey, can we stay a little bit longer, just like one more hour?" Your parents are like, "Okay, just this one time."
I'm like, okay, twisted my arm, but we're gonna hang for a little bit longer here, guys. I guess I can stick it out. And they're like, okay, we can keep playing Flip Cup.
She said yes. She said yes.
So the go on.
Shout out to my mom. One time, she was sitting by a pool with a mudslide, and doggy peed in it. She didn't notice. She drank it.
Oh.
Sorry, Mom.
Is this the first time she's gonna find out?
Yeah, no, she knows. Sorry, Mom.
So now everybody knows.
Yeah, but
I think I would.
She knows.
Throw up.
yeah, she knows.
Did she react, or was she just
We
like?
were all sitting
cool
there,
with
and
it?
we were just like,
Nobody told her.
no,
Terrible.
That's awful.
I know. Okay, sorry. It's a little dog.
I don't want to be distracted from.
That's really horrible.
There's a story there. We're gonna have to do this next time. We're having a second podcast, I guess.
Yeah, we're having a second podcast.
Because this is apparently something we need to dive into more. So I'll kick it off because I feel like
Yeah, go
there's, I'll give you time to think about your answer. But so my story goes, a friend of mine, Zach, and I. This is the first time I officially tried beer. So I'll take it a step further and I'll say the first time I tried alcohol was. I don't remember how old I was. It's probably like 14 or 15, something like that.
You had alcohol before beer?
Yeah, which is a crazy order to do it in.
It's weird.
Because predominantly beer was like the thing at like parties and events and stuff. Like liquor in general just like wasn't there. Like I never saw it, and if I did, it was a special occasion. And so so there was I was 14, maybe younger, even probably 14 or 15. I was like too scared to like do anything bad until I was like older. But so I saw a bottle of Sambuca on the basement steps, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a little bit of a rebel today. I'm gonna break it in. I'm gonna try a sip of liquor for the first time. I see everybody else. I see it was probably just a holiday because that's one of those things that like my dad and my uncles would drink at the end of Christmas or something, like right before everybody goes home. And that was probably still out. So I decided to open it. I didn't smell it, which if I smelled it, I would have known to stay away.
Very intense.
I just threw a straight back shot of it. And if I drank it today, I'd probably say the same thing, but it tasted to me like nail polish remover. That's the feeling I got from it. I thought I was dying when I had that. And so I immediately was like, never doing that again. I'm never going to touch liquor again, which is not true, but so fast forward probably like only a year or so, because at that point I was like interested, I was curious. This friend of mine, Zach, I don't know if he had any beer before, but he knew that in my parents' garage was just like always just like beer. There's like a bucket of beer. My dad was in the softball league, and so they always had like coolers of beer for their softball leagues, Sunday beer leagues, and we always had it. And so
is that a thing?
Oh yeah,
people drinking at the softball game?
Big time. They don't leave until the cooler's empty, I think.
Keep playing.
No, they finish and then they stay for like 4 hours in the parking lot and they drink. And so he was like, let's drink a beer. We'll split a beer. I was like, okay. I had never had a beer before, and I was like pretty nervous, but I also.
Wait, how old are you?
I was probably like 14 or 15 at the oldest.
Yo, Colin's dad, you're getting called out.
He didn't know.
Okay.
But I have a funny story that ties into the end of that afterwards, and he does know about that one. But so anyway, I sneak into the garage. I grab a Coors Light, just the first beer I can find.
I appreciate you defending your father.
No, it's not. It's. I don't know if it's defense or not. We'll see. But this is yours. This is for you.
No. Finish your story.
Well, okay, but we're running out of time, so.
We'll get there.
Okay, so this is Tired Hands. There we go.
Really?
I spoiled it. Yeah. My neighbor Justin got that for me, and I just
shout out to Justin.
Justin, hooking it up. He always brings me back good beers. So anyway, so I sneak in. I grab a Coors Light, and we sneak off to this park called Piping Rock, and we crack it open. Didn't think to chill it first. This is a warm Coors Light. Has probably been in the garage for over a year. Skunked, warm, and first time I'm trying a beer. And so we crack it open, and I remember we were splitting it. We were very fair about it. We measured, as much as we could, and we both split it.
Show me your mouth. You open your mouth. You see how much is in there.
Did you bring a measuring cup?
Yeah.
Because I did. And so we split it as much as we could. And I remember as soon as I had half of it, immediately I thought I was drunk. I was like pretty sure I was hammered. And we sat in that park probably like for 2 hours, just like playing on the slides and stuff, thinking that we were hammered. And we finally like adults, and we finally had our first beer. Maybe that's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. But the other part of the story is that when I was a little bit older and was going to like high school parties and stuff, and I was bringing my own beer, I splurged and I got a 30-pack of Budweiser. Normally you go like Natty or
you went full
Bud Light at the most.
Yeah,
we went straight Budweiser, and so
no beast.
I was protecting this thing with my life. So we brought it to a party, and I'm pretty sure that's the only party that we left ahead of time because we thought the cops were coming, which they never did, and so we missed out on a good party. But I brought my 30-pack with me. I only drank like 2.
Did you carry the remaining pack?
Oh yeah. That thing was my.
You're like tucking it under your shirt.
Yeah,
like,
that thing was my child.
When you're in high school, a 30-pack is like a very expensive purchase.
Precious.
This was a life decision.
Yeah, this thing cost me $25, and that is not cheap at that time. So I brought it with me, and normally when you bring beer to a party, it all gets drank, and then and then you have nothing to take home. So I had a almost full 30-pack I had to hide because I wasn't getting rid of it, and so I stashed it up in the attic, and then I forgot about it. This is in the middle of summer, and so all I remember after that...
Still up there to this day.
No. So all I remember after that is that my parents called me downstairs, and they were like, "Hey, so we found..." Yeah. So they're like, we found a 30-pack up in the attic, and everybody else is like out of the house right now. Like my brothers were in school, my sister's probably away in school, and they're like, "We're pretty sure it's yours." So taking it away. Just want you know we found it, and not okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. Yeah, bad. And so now, like 15 years later, when I'm an adult and I'm like, we're not even thinking about this anymore. My dad tells me this story about how he's like, remember that 30-pack of Budweiser that I found up in the attic? Like before we brought you downstairs and scolded you about that, put it in the fridge, chilled it up real good, finally took one out and cracked it, and it was terrible. So consider that this was a cold pack of Budweiser that then got hot in an attic for 3 months, and then got chilled, and then got drank. And he was like, the only reason that I didn't yell at you at that time was because I thought I got a free 30-pack out of you. And instead, when I cracked my first beer, it was skunked, and it was disgusting, and I had to throw the whole thing away. So
if you had opened the fridge, you'd have been like, what the hell?
I wouldn't. I would have had no idea, because it's just a 30-pack. It's like another 30-pack, and I forgot I had one. So
yeah, check the serial numbers.
It's true. Cross-reference. Keep my little notebook.
So let's introduce these beers real quick. So we've swapped beers at this point, putting each other's.
Can you hold that thought for 3 seconds?
Of course.
Okay, I'm gonna run out of the room real quick. I'll be right back.
What?
Because I drink.
There's 4 minutes left. Okay, I'm gonna first start talking about the beer Colin gave me. So let's look at this. That's weird. Yeah, so this is a Citra and Nelson Sullivan double IPA with local honey, which is produced by Tired Hands, which is great brewery. Let's see, the ABV is, I have no idea, but it's actually very, very good. You gotta be my second person.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, it's weird by myself. So what we got here is we've got like what would you call that?
What that drawing?
Some grass.
Are those mushrooms?
Are they mushrooms? It's like maybe mushrooms and like maybe like a. What is it? Is Pussy Willow? Can you say Pussy Willow? It kind of looks like it, right?
It does kind of actually. I don't know what those are. They look like honestly abstract sunflowers. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to describe that, because this whole art. Wait a minute. Oh, I thought that was supposed.
Kind of like a holographic situation.
That's what I thought for a second, because that looked like a bird beak. But then I thought I knew what was going on, and now I just don't.
What'd you give me here?
By the elevator.
That's Tired Hands.
Tired Hands.
That is very good.
I won't lie. It does look pretty good.
Do you want some of the beer that I got him?
Oh,
I'll
no,
pour
I'm
a little
not a
bit in
beer
the cup.
guy.
No?
Well, not like that. But thank you though.
What kind of beer do you like?
Joe Schmo beers. So Bud Light, all that.
Bud
bullshit.
Light, yeah.
Yeah. My buddies are all into that shit, and I'm just kind of like, I'd rather spend my money on like other things.
What other hobbies do you have? Like, what do you?
Music, film, drinking. So, because I'm an artist, man, and if I'm not getting drunk, shit, am
Yeah.
I actually an artist?
How are you gonna cut your ear off?
That's in the cards. I just gotta wait a little bit because
Yeah, you gotta wait.
because that's gonna hurt.
What kind of
a
art do you
lot.
do?
A little bit of everything. I mean, I don't draw as much as I would like to, but I guess my art is more in my writing because I'm a screenwriter.
Okay.
I'm trying to. It's funny enough because I have had more career opportunities doing music than I have doing film. So I'm trying to do something that kind of balances out both right now. So we'll see what happens.
I wonder if you could like write the music for a film. But
Oh,
then
yeah,
also
well,
write
I've
is
thought
there
about
a
doing
space for that? Is that?
Oh
exist?
yeah, it's scoring. I can't do orchestral stuff.
But I mean, like, has anyone ever scored something and also written the script? Is that a thing?
That's a good fucking question. I don't know. Well, I know my buddy Adam's
I guess
done that.
playwriters, technically.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But I'll shout you out, Adam. My buddy Adam Guzik is a great filmmaker, and he scores his own projects. But I'm like, that's a great fucking question. Like, I've never.
Maybe that's the sweet spot, right? It's like you
Yeah,
can get
it's-
your talents that.
I could write a song for my movie, so I could write a musical, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't write like orchestral shit.
If you took the parts that fit well, and then took the parts you want to do and merged those two together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
now I'm curious. Are there directors who scored their own movie, their own films? That's a really cool.
What
John
is-
Carpenter.
Interesting. I never saw The Fog.
You ever seen?
Now,
Christine?
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million
Are you
Baby.
telling me that
Oh
Clint
shit!
Eastwood
Clint Eastwood
is a composer?
Oh yeah, he's a songwriter.
Now, $1 Million Baby. I talk about this practically every day. Every time my kids are like about to fall, I'm like, "Don't $1 Million Baby yourself,"
Oh god.
you know? Because the end of that movie, spoiler alert, that's horrible.
This whole podcast is about.
She was
spoilers.
gonna win. Hilary Swank, she's great. Is that right? Is she Hilary Swank?
Sure, I guess. Now that I know all
Yeah.
the spoilers to the
You know,
movie.
actually, recently I watched Hocus Pocus,
That's a great movie.
and we were pretty sure that little girl in Hocus Pocus grew up to be Hilary Swank. No.
No.
No. But they do look exactly the same. Can we bring that up? Okay, now
Get the hang of
we're
it.
over time, but let's introduce the beers. Let's wrap up. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
You have bought me this Tired Hands Pussy Willow.
Is that what it's
situation.
called? Is that what it's called?
It's called Grassman,
Oh, then, well, don't be so bashful.
which I'm into. And what have I bought you?
You have brought me, it's called Gear Up
Mhm.
by Old Heights Brewing Company. Has a lot of old men with
Old Heightstown.
masks.
Now, Heightstown is spelled in a very odd turn of events. Hights TOWN. Can you open it and take a sip and tell us what you think, and then we'll.
Sure.
This woman looks nothing like Hilary Swank.
No, just do the kid. Do Hilary Swank adult, and do kid Hocus Pocus girl.
Wait, do you mean that reverse? Do you want Hilary Swank as a
Whoa.
kid?
No, I want Hilary Swank as an adult.
This
Yes, and then do kid Hocus Pocus girl.
her
Yeah, but like
as a kid.
not that.
As a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like Hocus. Is that her? She does not.
That's actually the girl
Yeah,
from
but look at
Hocus
her when
Pocus.
she's little.
Okay, let's see.
Not that girl.
What
That's-
what girl are you talking
Yeah,
about?
who are you?
The
That's-
older girl.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, she does look like her.
Hold on.
She looks just like her.
I was with you.
I
I,
hope
thought
that
I was
everyone-
talking about the.
shit.
I hope that everyone at home is like, oh.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
see it.
She looks just like her. But when she was a kid, just look at the kid version.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
I'm looking at.
Wow,
the movie in
you
my
did
head.
this search thing?
I've never done
I've
that or
never
seen
done
somebody
that.
do that.
Ever.
What?
It works well.
I mean,
Like,
it worked really
Oh, right click. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
click
the-
search.
it's the
I normally
easiest-
right click a copy, then. bring it
Oh
into the-
shit, she does look.
She looks
like...
just like Hilary Swank.
Yo, is it just me?
Wait,
or
that's
in
not her.
Yes, it is.
That's just Hillary Swank.
No, this is her.
It's not.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, so
Whoa!
if you learned one thing, send me a note from the future.
Whoa. Hold on.
Yeah, that's not Hillary Swank.
Yo, is it just me or does she also kind of look like Olivia Benson from SVU? Really,
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah.
Well, Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah.
I always fuck up her name.
She's
But-
standing right there. If someone were to right hook,
Holy shit!
She could
She
million
does
dollar
look like
baby
Hillary
herself,
Swank. You learn
Yeah, she
something
looks
new
just
every
like her.
day.
I was with you on thinking he was talking about the other girl, like the little
little
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
isn't
I was
it
like,
weird?
"Ah."
Isn't it weird that there are like celebrities that look exactly the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one studio comes out with a person, and the other studio is like, we need like a version of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should wrap it. Oh wait, Old Heights Town. There they are. They have the masks on. Show it to the camera.
I don't think anybody can see from here, but this is actually really, really good.
Do you like it?
I do.
I thought you might,
The creamy, hazy, juicy description is spot on.
but it's not your kind of beer.
Why? Oh,
It's just not.
I just drank an oat beer. Or is this not? This isn't oatmeal. No, oatmeal stout. That's what I'm thinking of. Oatmeal stout that I had at alternate ending was very good, and I didn't realize I was an oatmeal stout fan until recently. Also, this is very good. This has like, doesn't say it, but it has like a pineapple, I think, almost taste to it.
We got to wrap it up.
Okay.
It's been our first episode of the Beer Broadcast podcast.
Yeah.
No, the Beer Broadcast podcast.
We're working on it.
We're gonna work on it, but
whatever we put up on as the banner or whatever we do with this,
we
we'll
hope you
say
tune into the second episode of whatever we decide to call this
when do we think we're going to do another one in a week.
in 1 week.
Yeah, we're gonna
gonna
try and
do.
use-
We're gonna do it every week.
I think it's a good idea. It's a good.
Is that right? Can we get you again? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Can we have you be like a regular part of this?
Yeah, no problem. I'm game.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. We'll see you again. Now there's 3 of us.
Yes. Drink
Tomorrow
all your
there'll
beers.
be more of us.
We
That's
need
the
like a
Hamilton
sign off.
reference.
We need a sign. That's
Um,
not a good sign off. We need. It's like the sign off should be like, you know what we should do? We should encourage people to drink with us while they watch our podcast, and then at the end we can say like, okay, drink up.
Open your 3rd beer now. Tell the tell the podcast what you're drinking.
Can you
Point out
tweet
the
what you're drinking
intricacies of
and
the label.
mention us? Yeah.
And if you are a brewery that's interested in having
Follow
your
the
beer,
podcast live tweets.
They'll get sloppier as you go along. I promise.
if you're interested in having your beer, if you work at a brewery and you want your beer here, I mean, we buy this beer. This is just beer we buy on the platform. Although the last beers were just beers we bought off the
That
platform.
we liked, yeah.
If you have a beer that you want to send in, we'll all drink it together, right?
Yeah, we'll show it
Is that
off.
Princess Leia?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Cool, good ending.
All right.
Sweet, good.
Cool.